Good morning. Thursday morning. Not sure what it is. Just wondering where we go from here. These things that are being committed. Truth is being attacked. Decency, honor, respect is being attacked. Things that things that basically we'd seen dead in America. Things that were basically put down in America have come back to life, and now they're haunting us in every area we look. Racism. Racism basically did. I mean, you're going to have people, a person here and there, this and that or whatever, that, they got this garbage going on within them. And they're going to cling to it. I mean, it's somewhere, somehow, the devil's crammed this junk into their head and into their heart, and they're going to have a hard time getting away from it. And actually, the only way they'll get away from it is repent of their sin and let God just wash that friggin' garbage out of them. That's the only way to get out of that junk. Some of it, and it's the same way with a lot of circumstances in our individual lives and things. But things that we've seen liberals and socialists committing themselves to against this nation and everything in the world, man, they're attacking Christianity, they're attacking truth, they're attacking honesty, they're attacking honorable. They're manipulating everything they touch now. I seen a post on Facebook here. It's been, I'll say 8 months, a year ago, maybe longer. Someone put a post on there. Somebody had said, had made the statement or whatever, that you blame other people for doing what you are actually doing yourself. And it's in a socialist line to try to cover up their atrocities against humanity and society. But liberals and socialists, they got this, they're holding hands. Karl Marx said if we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, we can take the country. Look what liberals are doing. Liberals are doing exactly that. They're throwing trash, man, into the minds and into the hearts of people. They're throwing godless, immoral junk through all kinds of avenues. Entertainment, whether it's movies or music or arts or social medias and all kinds of stuff, are throwing out all this junk. They're trying to paint a picture in people's minds. There are no set boundaries of right and wrong. The same lie that Satan spoke to Eve in the garden. Now listen, the same lie that Satan had spoken to Eve in the garden when he wanted to coax her into eating the forbidden fruit. The same lie is being told today in the hearts and minds of people. You'll be as smart as God. Trying to make people think, hey, just think how smart you are. You can do this. This is okay because we're learning, man. We're catching on. We're doing all this stuff. It's the same friggin' lie. What actually happened is Satan talked to Eve, and eventually it got into Adam, and he talked them out of the garden, man. He stripped them of their right to possess the garden. The same thing's happening today. He stripped them out of their life. They could have lived in the garden eternally because there was no sin to bring the flesh down. They could have lived forever right in the garden. Sounds hard to believe, to grasp, whatever. Think what you want. But listen, look at us today. Satan tells us something. The first thing we know, we jump onto it. We get into it with both hands and both feet, and we start walling in. And a few years down the road, we're trying to figure out what's happening to our bloodlines. We're trying to figure out where social diseases come from. We're trying to figure out why there's shootings. We're trying to figure out why terrorists are the way they are. We're trying to figure out why this and that and those and these. We're figuring out where all this stuff is going. All this stuff was forbidden in the garden. Don't eat of the tree of knowledge. It was forbidden. This understanding, or so-called understanding, was forbidden in the garden. God. But look what happens. Eve eats. She coaxes Adam into Eve, and before you know it, what happens? They got their bags packed, man. They're hitting the door, the gate. They have to leave the garden, and there's an angel standing there with a flaming sword, man. And hey, they was run out. They was run out of the utopia, the paradise. Why? Why? Because they become knowledgeable of things that God didn't want them to know. He goes through the garden. Adam, where you at, dude? What's happening? Where you at? Where you at? We over your head. We naked. Yeah, right. But these liberals and socialists are attacking decency. They're attacking honor. They're attacking truth. They're attacking boundaries, unseen boundaries that shouldn't even have to be drawn up to be recognized. Things that people should live within. You know, if I love you, if I respect you, if I honor you, there is a boundary around you, but that boundary is visible, is supposed to be visible to me. Because of that love and that respect, I should not be willing to cross that boundary there. That is an unseen boundary. But out of love and respect, that boundary is recognized. Liberal thinking wants to erase the boundaries. It wants people to think you can let your mind race into every friggin' hellhole coming and going. Or into every little avenue of thought, into every little shady spot, and this and that one. You can let yourself go. If we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, we can take the nation. Wasn't that what Karl Marx said? If we can corrupt the element of honor within them, we can coax them in to letting us rule, or coax them into letting us run things. And once we're in running power, in running stance, then we have control of it. Wasn't that basically what he said? Well, yeah, it was. Once we have the power to run it, we can control it. Liberals are it's peeing in the minds of people. And the socialists are there. Just take hold of that, man. Take hold of that person after things have been corrupted. I'll try to find it there. A picture somebody had put on Facebook. I'd seen it before, but I think this morning. I'll share it over to Twisted World News. But it's a picture of people burning flags in America. But yet over in socialist ran China, they're over there flying the flags. People protesting the socialist system that is set up in China. People are over protesting that system, and they're carrying American flags. Think of that. We're burning the very essence of our freedom here, but those people are longing for it. Shouldn't we be getting to the point that we understand, that we should be comprehending or recognizing, hey, this socialist thinking is something a little bit sour here. Something about socialism, these people over there that in this socialist country, something about that socialism they don't want. What is it we're burning our flags? What is it we're trying to get, and they're trying to get out from under it? Hey, something's wrong, people. Something's wrong. Those people know what socialism is. They know what a ruling power is. They won out from under it. In America, we got a president that's trying to push godly moral values throughout the country. He's not perfect. He's got little things in his past that are not perfect, but yet he's trying to push these godly moral values because he realizes there is an importance in that. Within those values, you find the moral conscience that respects the boundaries of others. Within those values, you find the importance of life. Within those values, you find the importance of individuality. You find the importance of the individual thinking, the individual mind. Within those values, you find the moral essence that creates laws that actually serve a working justice. Those people, they want a voice over there in China. Over here, the ignorance of Americans that have taken hold of a godless, immoral attitude, they're trying to destroy the very essence that gives them a voice. Ignorantly, they don't understand it. Whatever reason. The point is, people in socialist China went out from under socialism. People in free America are trying to push us under socialism. These politicians and medias and whatever, who was it? Joy Bauer from The View says people, they just don't understand socialism, or not giving socialism a fair shake, or some kind of rot. I don't know what it's exactly. I didn't forget. I seen it here a little while back. They're just not giving, not being fair with socialism. Hey, people, go to China and ask those people over carrying those flags, American flags, down the streets of China that have lived under socialism. Ask them what it is that we're not understanding. Ask them. Don't listen to Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and Castro and Warren and MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, Charleston, West Virginia's Charleston Gazette. Don't ask them. Ask the people over there that live under that friggin' stuff. Ask them. They're the ones that understand what socialism is. You're letting people over here tell you what socialism is. Those are the people, the same people that are holding hands with liberals. Liberal is a godless, immoral attitude and thinking that is peeing into the brains of people, corrupting the conscience and the moral essence. Then socialism gets a hold of it from there, and it drags you into its utopia thought. Oh, we're going to have utopia. We're going to have people all around the world going to have health coverage. But Bernie Sanders spits it out here just the last few days. He says, "Oh, we're going to have housing here, man. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be unreal how good it's going to be." And it had $2.something trillion into housing. And this medical thing they're talking about bringing to life is $30 trillion, and that. God, have you ever seen such utopia they're going to give us? Margaret Thatcher. The problem with socialists, is they soon run out of other people's money. The problem with socialists is they soon run out of other people's money. What happens when we run out of money? What happens? What happens if you find out your house you're staying in is no longer free? What happens if you find out that the drug you've been taking that holds down AIDS or lupus or this or that or what have you? What happens when you find out it's no longer free? What happens when you realize the schooling that you've been getting under the government that would have cost you $15,000, but the government promises you all this free education, and you find out one day it's no longer free? What happens? What happens? You know what happens? Then you start seeing the seed rise up within your life that these people in China that are carrying American flags down the streets of China protesting socialism, the thing that started them on this path of protesting against socialism, that thing was in them, is starting to rise up within you. You realize the peons on the streets of China knew then what you are learning now. But see, this is the thing. Once the power is in, you're a peon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. You're no longer a voice. You're no longer a choice. You're no longer a right. You're no longer an individual. You're a peon, Jack. You're a peon. The people that's got the voices and the choices and the power are up there. They're the ones that one time might have been working out just, honorable, fair laws to serve, but now they're writing up laws that satisfy. Satisfy who? Satisfy who? Not you, not me. They're satisfying laws that satisfy them. You're just a peon. I'm just a peon. Socialism creates peons. Free America, freedom and liberty, creates individuals. Entrepreneurship. People that have a choice have a voice. People that have a voice have a vote. They choose their destiny. Things are not perfect. The gold ring is not handed to them, but yet they have a choice to decide what they're going to do, what decision they're going to make, what avenue they're going to take. They have a choice. They have a voice. Socialism doesn't give you a choice. It doesn't give you a voice. It says you either pay attention and listen and obey, or, well, it ain't going to go well for you. That's socialism. Capitalism, listen, never in the history of time on the face of this earth have more people became prosperous than what is going on in America. Never have more people became prosperous than what you see in America. There's a lot of things going on that I don't like. Hey, I've been screwed, man. I've been screwed several times with people that didn't want to do right. And because I was basically someone that, well, I didn't run the show, or I didn't own the show, or I didn't this, I got my throat cut. Justice wasn't served. John ended up flat down and broke. And it wasn't John's fault. It's because people wouldn't do right. Some might have believed, well, this is right from what I understand. I know that. I realize that. But this is the thing. If had all the facts come out and then let justice take its course, I wouldn't have been in the circumstances I went. I wouldn't have went through. I went through. My family, or my household, my wife and I, we would not have went through what we went through had justice actually been served. But because justice wasn't served, because the system was manipulated, because things were cheated, justice wasn't served. People, you've got to realize what godless, immoral thinking and agenda does when it gets into power. It does not serve justice. Honor is a byword. The boundaries of right and wrong are erased. Perversions begin to make laws and choose direction for you and for everything else. And there's nothing honorable there. There's no honor, nothing honorable there. Nothing actually just there. Nothing actually there that should be there in order for the people to be served the way they should be served. You know, justice is a servant to the honorable and the dishonorable both, because justice will serve the honorable with freedom and liberty and hope and life. But it also serves that one that has committed atrocity. It serves them with their deserving ends. It serves them with judgment. They get put in jail. Some of them get put to death. They get this, they get that. They're fined or just whatever. That's justice. They committed an atrocity against somebody, and now they're having to pay for that. That's justice. The same justice tries to soothe the pain of the innocent. Well, listen. Yes, you was hurt. I can't take away all the hurt. I can't immediately heal the scar of a knife that you took or a bullet or whatever. I can't immediately automatically erase the pain of someone being murdered or whatever from your family. But I want you to know, justice is saying, I want you to know that I recognize you was done wrong. And I want you to know those that committed that thing, they're paying for it. That's justice. You got people up there in Washington, D.C. and around this country right now that don't want justice. They want laws that satisfy them. Their minds have slipped. Their minds have slipped, people. They no longer seek truth. They no longer seek honor. They no longer seek the things that are fair and kosher and good. They seek satisfaction. They seek to satisfy that unnatural desire. They seek to satisfy something corrupt, something that is not fair, than actually honorably fair. You know, fair sounds cool. But fair doesn't give the pervert the right to cross those invisible boundaries on others. And once they do that, fair is no longer fair. It's a lie. Justice says, fair, you done good, but you crossed the boundary. Now it's my turn. That's justice. Justice says, you're no longer fair. Now it's my turn to move. Justice says, let's fix it. Let's fix it. These politicians, these liberal social politicians, they are not fair. Fair is a byword. Fair is what they want when they just want your ear. They just want you to listen. Fair is what they want when they want you to listen to them. Yeah. You know, they give rights to perversions. Isaiah 32, Old Testament Bible, verses 5 through 8, it talks about the liberal and the churl. The churl, there's a footnote there that says the churl is the fool. It talks in another place, says the fool has said in his heart there is no God. Isaiah 32, verses 5 through 8, tells you what happens if liberal thinking has its way. I could read it for you. Maybe I should. I've put it, I don't know how many posts and stuff, you know. But listen, people, we've got to get back to that. Our duly elected president, Donald J. Trump, that these liberals and socialists have been trying to push out of office for almost 3 years. They tried to cheat him out of the campaign trail. And then after he got elected, they tried to remove him. But they have nothing of any credibility. They have no actual evidences or facts or essence that says he should be removed. All they have is, we don't want him up there. We want him out of there. That's the thinking of a liberal. That's the thinking of a socialist. They do not want truth and honor to have power in a system. Liberals and socialists want to be able to manipulate, to maneuver, to screw with things so they can satisfy. What does the Word of God says about the liberal in Isaiah 32:5-8? Listen to this. I'm gonna read this. Maybe I won't read it all, but I'm gonna read part of it. I'm gonna tell you what verse 8 says. What about the liberal? It says more up through there. I just want to read this up front. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. The liberal makes excuses for things that satisfy others, and those others keep that liberal excuse given perversion in power. The liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Duh. Why do you think these politicians, these perverted politicians, why do you think they stay in power so long? Because they're scratching the butt of the gays. They're scratching the butt of the transgenders. They're scratching the butt of other crooked politicians. They're scratching the butt of this and that and whatever. They're rubbing the crotches of people. They're doing everything in the world. And those people that sit back and just enjoy the scratch or the rub or whatever, they vote for them again. They vote for them again. Yeah. There's actually nothing cool or kosher about these people. People look at them right now. They're burning their flag. They're rubbing the crotches of people that are overrunning their laws. That should tell you what's going on. That should tell you about what's going on in the minds of these liberals and socialists. I mean, I shouldn't have to paint you a picture. If I have to sit down with you and connect the dots with you, you need to go back to Head Start, man. This is not rocket science. This is just to open your eyes and connect the dots. The things that are going on now are pitiful. It's literally pitiful. You know, just it's. Let me read you this. Something else. I mean, everything Twisted World News does, it evolves around this scripture here, or basically the whole Bible. But everything I do is because God pointed this out to me after the 2012 elections. This is not John looking for a crying spot. This is where God just opened my eyes. He opened my eyes to disaster. He opened my eyes to things committed, to harm, to cheat, to lie, to scam people. The architect or the man that wrote up the Affordable Care Act, what was his name? Gruber, Anthony Gruber. The Gruber's his name, I believe. But he told it later. He said the Affordable Care Act was written up to missile the people, to missile Americans. It was written up to deceive Americans, to deceive them. He admitted to it. And I'll be honest with you. the friggin' ignorance of your Republican Party that voted to pass that. The ignorance that boiled up with them was simply pitiful. They knew that those liberals and socialists, that mainly the Democratic Party, they knew they couldn't be trusted already, but yet they followed it. Now it's all out, and I guess you can call it hindsight. They don't act as much ignorant because they see all this garbage going on now, and they're trying to stand up against it and get it pushed back out of the system. But see, they didn't repeal the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare. Why didn't they repeal it? I want to know. I mean, there's questions, people. There's a lot of things going on that these people don't talk about. There's a lot of things going on. And if some of this stuff, if it's still in the Affordable Care Act, and the Affordable Care Act is still on the books as a law, this is bad. It's bad. We got to know what's in it. We got to know what they've settled for. Euthanasia is being practiced in the world. Millions of people are dying around the world. All for a good cause. All right. The vile person will no more be called liberal, nor shall the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy. The vile, that's the liberal. The vile person shall no more be called liberal. The liberal is a vile person. But that vile person will no longer be called liberal, even though they are vile, even though they are corrupt, even though they are dirty, even though they are manipulative and secretive and plotting and scheming, even though they are doing this, they will no longer be called a vile liberal. Nor shall the churl said to be bountiful. The footnote I was talking about, churl, the footnote is fool. For the vile person will speak villainy. Listen. For the vile person will speak villainy, his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, and make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The liberal person will speak villainy, his heart will work in iniquity, and he'll practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, and he will make the soul of the hungry, and to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Even though he's vile, even though he's lying and scheming and plotting and cheating and dirty, he will no longer be called vile or liberal. His actions will be accepted, okay? Verse 8, I read it to you. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Even though they're dirty, even though they know they're corrupt, even though they know they're atrocious, they support them. You have people supporting the dirty, the atrocious. Okay? Now listen, this is the fool. The Bible says the fool has said in his heart, there is no God, okay? Now you may think I judge, and maybe in a way I do, but there is a reason. And that reason is by choice that they make. I don't judge them because they make a choice. I judge them because their choice is hurting others. If we don't learn righteousness, and if we don't learn to make righteous decisions, hey, we're going to have some a lot worse days than we are now. Now listen. Now you heard what I said about the vile or the liberal. Make empty the soul of the hungry, and will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Now this is the fool, the godless, that says there is no God. Now listen. The instruments also of the churl, the fool, are evil. The instruments of the godless are evil. The fool, the churl, those that reject the knowledge of truth and honor and decency, the fool, are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor. Now listen, He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. The instruments also of the fool, the churl, the godless are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. Now listen, even when the needy speaketh right. Even when those that are hurting and in want and need speak truthfully and honestly and justly and uprightly, even though they speak the words that should be spoken, the godless, the churl, the fool says, you will get as I think you should. Doesn't that sound like socialism? Doesn't that sound like socialism? You ain't honky tonkin'. That sounds like socialism. We don't have to be. What is Debbie Wasserman Schultz said? We don't owe our constituents a fair election. Yeah. That's coming right out of the DNC, baby. Right out of the DNC. We don't owe our constituents a fair election. Pucker up, sweetheart. She's waiting on you. But that's where I stand, people. You know, I've told you several times, you know, I don't fight for America alone, for Americans alone. I fight for every man, woman, boy, and girl in the world. Because injustice is intolerable. It should not go on. It's not right. But as a godly, moral leader in the world, America sets the precedence of the world. God appointed us to that we would be a leader. But the liberal, godless, moral, liberal thinking and this plotting, scheming, cheating, immoral rot that lives within the minds, that lives in the shadows, in the background of these socialists. This rot, people, is warring against America. It's warring against God. It's warring against truth. It's warring against honor. It's warring against justice. It's warring against everything. It is actually warring against you. It is warring against your family. It is warring against your bloodline. It is warring against humanity. It is warring against society. Liberal thinking and socialist thinking is a plague upon society. It's a plague upon individuality. It's a plague upon choice. It's a plague upon voice. It's a plague upon freedom. It's a plague upon liberty. It's a plague upon everything as an individual. You know, God, out of everything that He has given man, He's given man something that only man has the right to. This one element, man is the only creature on the breathing on the face of the earth that has the right to make a choice. He's the only creature on the face of the earth that has the right to decide. Everything else acts out of instinct or character of its making. A monkey does what monkey does. A cow does what cow does. A lizard does what a lizard does. A chicken does what a chicken does. Man can decide. Man can make his own choice. Man can choose his path or his course, his avenue to walk. Man can choose life or death. God told the Jews in the Old Testament, I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Choose ye life that you may live. Man can make a choice. Man can choose life by acknowledging the things of God, the goodness of God, the grace of God, the love of God, the blessing of God, the mercies of God. Man can make a choice, or man can make the choice to ignore God, to listen to Satan in his life as Satan feeds that same lie. You're going to be as smart as God. That was a lie. You will learn. He could have told him you will learn, but if you learn too much, you're going to cut your own throat in that knowledge because you're going to do away with yourself. But he didn't. He deceived. He sowed Eve the seed of a socialist lie. That's basically what he done. He sowed Eve the seed of a socialist lie. You can make your own choices. You can do the socialism doesn't give you a choice. The people of China know that. The people of China know socialism doesn't give you a choice. This is getting long. I can't help it. I get to talking about some of this stuff, and it just brings more and more. But why are we not learning from the picture that the Chinese people are painting us, that they're showing us? Why are we not learning? They fly the American flag because they want the voice to be alive there that Americans have here. But we have Americans that have chosen godless, immoral thinking, and now they're burning the flag. People in China are longing to live with it, longing for, yearning for the freedoms and the liberties of America. In America, ignorance is burning that flag. Godless, immoral ignorance is burning the flag. It's pitiful. It's really sad. It's really sad. You could go into those marches where they're burning the flag, and you could just look them dead in the eye and say, "Listen, Eve, you're screwing yourself. You're screwing yourself. You're pushing for a utopia that once you step out the gate, you're going to learn there's no utopia. Listen, Eve, don't do that." I pray the Lord sends us some rain. It's been dry here in the old mountain state. Grass is starting to turn brown. I realize there's been other places around the nation that have went through atrocious drought and stuff, and it's what we're seeing here is basically nothing. But yet we need rain, and I pray God give us rain. I pray the Lord give us rain. I pray the Lord be merciful. I pray that He be lenient unto me. I pray that He be lenient unto you. Have a good day.